Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video, folks. I'm once again here on the Lost Island, and this time around I'm going to show you how to tame the Dinopithecus. This of course is one of the 3 new creatures released with this DLC, and for this we do need to have a couple of things set into place. You can find them in the redwood forest. That is where they will spawn, and with these creatures there is a specific mechanism that we need to keep mind of whilst we tame them. So we'll need to set up a trap, and they normally tend to be in groups. So what you need to do is you have to kill off all of the other baboons, the Dinopithecus, and only leave the alpha. You can only tame the alpha, so of course they do tend to wander about. So best practice here is to use a trap. Now I'm going to resort to my favorite trap, which is a pitfall trap, and of course, as you are in the redwood forest, danger is always never far away. So I found a spot that has some of these Dinopithecus, and of course I found a spot that is fairly flat, not far from where I last saw them. We're going to start with a 2x2 foundation. Always keep your eyes peeled, make sure you don't aggro anything dangerous. We do have all sorts of nasty things. And then once we have set down the foundations, what we need to do is we need to enclose it with walls. Of course, you don't have to make it out of metal. It's just what I had on me, so I'm using metal for this. You can use stone if you want to. You can even use wood. Of course, keep in mind that the purpose of the trap, well, it has 2 purposes. One is to keep out bad things, and the other thing is to keep the Dinopithecus in. As you can see right there, last time I checked there wasn't a Carno, but somehow it did manage to kind of sneak up on us, so always take care of that. Now if this would have been wood, it would have taken damage, but not enough to actually destroy it. So we're going to go 2 tall all the way around, and that should be deep enough. Now of course we need to get a Dinopithecus in here, so the way we're going to do that is we're going to use ramps to let it more or less follow us into the trap. Now I am hovering because I am using a cinema crop, so if you don't know how to tame one of these, or if you want an easy way to tame these, I have a guide for that. I will link it at the end of this, so I'll show you where to get the cinema crops really easy, how to tame it really easy, and all that wonderful stuff. So we'll set this down here, and sometimes it can be a bit fiddly, but that's fine. We'll get it done, and there we go. We want to make sure the ramps go all the way into the ground. That is why it does help to have, oh, there we go, as I was saying, that's why it helps to have a flat ground to work on. Of course, if you don't have the luxury of a flat ground, then that's not a problem. As long as you have a way of kiting the Dinopithecus into the trap, then that's fine. Now I do want to stay airborne because I don't know how quickly things respawn here, so I don't really want to chance anything. And because I don't know where they are at the moment, I am going all the way around, so you don't have to do this if you know where the group of Dinopithecus are located. And of course, speak of the devil, here it is. That actually quite works because this is a Carno, so let's deal with it. And we also have a raptor down there, which we don't really want to be messing with right now. Okay, so let's do this other end as well, and then that kind of gives us an easier way of kiting it in. Like I said, you can only do this on the side that you want. If you want, you don't have to go all the way around. I prefer to do it all the way around because I don't know where they've moved to in the time that I've built this. Of course, you can build this off of a mount if you want to. I'm going to use the cinema crops to kite it in, so I'm not using a mount for this. Right, nearly there. Okay, we'll have to get rid of that corpse before we put down that last ramp. That's fine. Okay, let's go and sort this out. So with the trap ready, it's time to kite the group of Dinopithecus into the trap. Now what you have to keep in mind, of course, is that you can only ever tame the alpha. In order to tame the alpha, we need to get rid of all of the other Dinopithecus around it, and once we have done that, then we need to take the alpha's health below 85%, so we can start taming it. For this, of course, it does prefer the exceptional kibble, but you can use berries, you can use the meat as well, so you can use prime meat, cooked prime meat, as well as mutton and lamb chops and stuff like that. But the best thing to use for this is the exceptional kibble, and if you do find a high level alpha, then it's definitely worth using that. So as you can see right here, I'm just basically getting close to them, close enough to get their attention and kite them in a way that they will go up the ramps and fall into the box that I've set up. There is one that is running around, and of course I do like to try and get rid of all of them, including the juveniles, before I move on to the alpha. So first things first, I normally tend to start from the outside of the box, so every Dinopithecus around I will kill, because as you can see they do wander about and we don't really want them impacting our tame. So of course I have what I want in the box, they're not going anywhere, and the very first thing is I'll fly about looking around the area that I've set up the trap where I've got my Dinopithecus to be tamed, making sure that there isn't another Dinopithecus around. Now sometimes they can spawn in during the taming process, or some may wander nearby from another group, so it's definitely worth keeping an eye out. That is totally a possibility. They do get around these things, and as you can see, that one is a juvenile. It does move about quite a bit, which is kind of frustrating, and I'm trying to take it out. This is the only one that I can see in the area. It does not really help with this fog, but eventually it will die out. Then I'll move on to what I have in the box, which is where I will take out all of the other Dinopithecus, with the exception of the alpha, which is what we're after. I mean, that is the only one that we can tame out of the group, so that's the way the mechanism works, or that's the mechanics of it, at least. That probably sounded better. Oh, there we go. So we did manage to actually aggro another one, and I didn't see it in the fog, so that's kind of interesting. There we go. So with that said, the one with the glowing aura is the alpha. That is the one that we can tame. The others have no purpose, so it's time to take them out, including the juveniles that have fallen into the trap. That way it'll make our life easier. And once we've done that, we're going to move on to taking the alpha's health down well below 85%. So I normally like to take it down to about 30% just for good measure, just in case complications arise. We don't really want it healing back up and complicating the tame itself. Now I am trying to hit both the juvenile that's stuck underneath the alpha as well as the alpha in this case. Obviously I need to be careful here. We don't want to do too much damage to the alpha. We don't really want to kill it. The purpose of this is of course to tame it. So I'm waiting for the notification to say that the juvenile Dinopithecus is down. Checking the health on that one. I mean, it looks pretty bloody, so it's definitely well below 85%. Time to land in the box, give it its first feed, after which I am then going to remove the ramps. If you want, at this point, you can certainly remove the ramps. That'll keep anything from finding its way into the trap whilst you are taming the Dinopithecus. I'm pretty sure this area is clean for the time being, so I want to get the taming started. Between the first and second feed, there's always quite a bit of time to wait. So whilst we're waiting between the first 2 feet, I'll be picking up the ramps. As I said, it's always the first 2 feet, or the time between the first and the second feed, that is the longest. So I don't really do well with just waiting there. So what I like to do is I like to pick up my ramps. Now, of course, as I said, I used metal here. You don't have to. You can use wood. You can also use stone. And of course, the ramps, you can use the wooden ramps. Demolishing them does give you back some resources, so you do get back half of what you use. Oh, here we go. There's another Dinopithecus. So this one is a wanderer, as far as I'm guessing. I could probably try and continue taming the one in the box, but because it's so close, I'm going to take it out. And with that said, that should make my life easier. It should not have any complications. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. We don't really want this monkey right here impacting on the ability to tame the one that we have in the box. Oh, that was a high level too. That was a 140. That was okay. I mean, we have a 150 here, so I'm not complaining. Okay, so yeah, eventually with some patience you do end up taming your Dinopithecus. I'm quite close to doing that, but I always like to pop out now and again to have a look around, make sure that there's nothing potentially dangerous that can pop its head in here and take a couple of bites out of it after I've tamed it. Once you tame it, you can then ride it. You don't really need a saddle, and of course, as you can see, these are the stats for what I've tamed, and that is right there, the kibble. So I've used the exceptional kibble, which is the best to use. Of course, you can use mutton, you can use prime meat and berries as well. I think you can probably use vegetables. It is an omnivore, so it does like pretty much anything, but for best taming effectiveness is, of course, the exceptional kibble. So what can this creature do? Let's have a look at its abilities. It is actually quite a cool creature. It does have this ground pound, and of course you can also do the swipe, so these are left and right clicks. Now, one thing that I like about this is that it does jump, so that is actually quite a useful ability for a land mount. But the ground pound does look quite cool, and you can use them from the air as well. So if you jump, you can swipe whilst in air, which is nice. So there we go. You can actually swipe quite a few times just to show that off. But you can also do a ground pound in midair. So whilst you jump, after jump, you can click to do a ground pound. It does have an AoE effect. Let's have a look at the damage. Alright, that's not all that bad, you know. And you can have quite a few of these as well, so that's quite nice. Of course, it does have the ability to throw grenades and poop, and a combination of the two, which I'll show later on. But before that, I want to show you off some other abilities that you can use this for. So I've got here a crossbow with an anchor. So we're using a zip line to get Dinopithecus moving. So it does have the ability to actually walk on the zip line just like the Ravager. So that is pretty neat. You can actually leave it up on the zip line as well. So I'll show you that as well. Let's try and get it closer to the edge. Right there. We're going to anchor it down to the ground, and then basically walk underneath the zip line, jump, and then jump again to grab onto the zip line. There we go. And now you can pretty much just do this, which is well cool. You can move, you can change your sense of direction if things don't lag, which is kind of sometimes what it is. But you can also get off of it by just jumping off of it. This is pretty cool. I do like that. But another thing that this thing does, and I'll show you that in a bit, is it'll just dangle there. You can actually have them dangled on your zip lines. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but still, that is an option for those interested. But here's another one. It actually climbs up vertically. So I like that so much. Even better than that, it doesn't really seem to take damage. So just look at here. I mean, this is nuts. Shadowmane would have taken damage. I mean, they can jump quite high and they can take a bit of damage when fallen. But this does not take damage, which is well cool. I don't know if this is intended or not, but it is cool. I'm guessing this will probably get fixed at some point in the future. Maybe it's not intended. I'm not sure. You guys let me know what the score is. I think this will get fixed at some point. So the other thing you can do is, if you have grenades and poop in the Dinopithecus's inventory, it will use them as ammunition, so it will launch them. Of course, the poop will do some damage and slow down creatures, as you can see. The grenades, this is where things get a bit tricky. So you can't cook them. They do bounce about, which is really annoying. Of course, they also have that timer, so things will move in the game. It's very unlikely that you will hit anything with it unless it's stationary. So of course, let's try the grenade. We'll try and hit that Parasaur with a grenade as if, but it does bounce about, and of course you cannot cook them, which would be nice if you could do. Let's see if we hit it. No, we hit something, but yeah, if you listen, it does bounce about. You can actually see it sometimes. Now, of course, you can combine these two skills, and you can mix the poop with the grenade, in which case what it'll do is it'll act as a grenade. It'll bounce. When it blows up, it will then use the poop effect to slow down a creature. So yeah, I'll show you that in a bit. Let's swap to the poop grenade. Okay, I was hoping to hit that parasaur, but that didn't happen. So I'm going to swap over to the poop grenade, and we'll see if we can find something to use it on. See, I would have liked it if it slowed down the parasaur then exploded, but it is what it is. It works the other way around. It basically acts as a grenade. It'll bounce about a bit. It'll cook itself or count down or do its timer and then blow up. After it blows up, it will then act as a poop, slowing down the creature that is in the smoke cloud, whatever you want to call it. There we go. I'm going to back up a bit. So it's blown up, done the damage. Now the parasaur is under the effect of the poop. And that's pretty much it for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please do not forget to support me on the channel by hitting that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And of course, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethum Discord. A link to this you can find down below in the video's description. And until next time, stay safe, folks.